This is Sara Goulder. I'm the founder of Finesse Force, and I'm talking to Lihong Hicken. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your role, what inspired you to create TheySaid, and kind of what specific problems that it solves?
Yeah, totally. My name's Lihong Hicken. I'm a co-founder at TheySaid, and I basically manage everything customer facing, so sales, customer support, success, services, anything customer facing is my plate. I originally come from China, moved to U.S. Silicon Valley about 15 years ago, and had been working in startup all my career since I moved here. So far, I've always been working in startup. I have pretty lucky, got 3 exits and 3 acquisitions and 1 IPO under the belt in the last few years. So now I feel like, okay, I've done quite a lot. I want to do something big. So when ChatGPT and AI has this major breakthrough, and then we realized that this is perfect for solving one of the biggest problems in the industry of feedback, because the problem is that it is impossible to get qualitative insight at scale. And then from our previous experience, our team actually built the largest qualitative company. It's called usertesting.com. They went public in 2021. So the problem we want to solve is that, learning from our experience in the qualitative space, we want to gather qualitative insights from an interview, but then also get the scalability of AI surveys in one. So think about us as a feedback OS system that gathers qualitative and quantitative data at scale. And this is something that nobody has ever done before. Frankly, it was not possible to get it done before AI is here.
That's really interesting. So are most of the people currently using your product on the product development side, or who's actually using it right now? Who do you find?
It's actually quite a wide range of that. I mean, if you think about our target audience, traditionally marketing department do a lot of surveys and market research. Now they can upgrade to a version that gets you qualitative insight that didn't have before. They are users, business founders, leaders, oftentimes uses our service as well. We have a lot of market research agencies who does this kind of project for their clients. Now they can improve their efficiency and speed and quality with AI, and then while can keep their margin. So, but I'm seeing a lot of new use cases that wasn't possible before for other departments as well.
Can you explain a little bit how it works?
Yeah. So if you think about our product is the conversational AI surveys and interviews. So instead of filling out a boring form, where it's everybody has done a Google form or survey. The traditional surveys, if you look at the quadrant for understanding the customers, right? If you look at the top, maybe a graph, top is what customers say, and the bottom is what customers do. And then on the right hand side is what they're saying and doing, and on the left is qualitative why insight. So if you want to understand what customers are saying, you do surveys. Surveys are designed to help you tell you what customers say. Basically, 50% of people say they prefer product A, but so what? Why? You can't get the why toward that, right? And then, but if you want to understand the why on it, most people will do one-on-one conversation. So you see a lot of funders will do customer discovery calls with customers all day long because it's so valuable, right? Or if they can't do that, they will hire agency to do focus group or agency to do those interviews, right? So, and we build user testing, so we know how valuable qualitative insight is. But oftentimes it's hard to justify the decision because with the qualitative, you don't need a big sample size. And then if you're making a couple $1 million decision, then can I rely on this insight, which is very valuable, but not enough sample size, and it's impossible to get that data out and share with the team members. It also oftentimes can be easily swayed and biased by emotions and feelings. So it's very valuable. We just don't have a way to harness it. But imagine now you have AI who's fully trained on your business products, your offerings, doing the interview and conversation with the customers. So it's similar to think about ChatGPT, but this is imagine the AI function as your AE, as your CSM, as your product people, as your CEO, interviewing the customers, exactly getting to them, exactly what they're thinking, why they're thinking that, because it will ask dynamic follow-up questions, dive into the nitty-gritties. rather than just the surface questions.
Yeah, I could see that being very valuable. I have started customer advisory boards at companies and have kind of run the program that does the customer references and customer case studies. And so I know that that could actually be very time consuming. So very
Yeah.
interesting. In your experience, how have AI-driven insights changed the way companies approach, say, customer retention and customer expansion compared to kind of the traditional methods, kind of like how we've been talking about, but maybe you can dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I actually read a white paper about retention and expansion on the space. So I did that. I might do too much research on that, but basically I'm thinking like traditional ways of kind of looking at expansion and retention is you put in a lot of data like NPS, health score, product usage, and you try to infer what customer will think or will do, right? All these data will help you understand what's going on, what's happening, but you don't really understand why this is happening. And in order to make better decisions to prevent churn from happening, you kind of need to understand why this is happening, right? So, and then I would say, I want to clarify what is AI-driven insight. I think when I talk to people about AI-driven insight, their first impression is they're going to throw a bunch of this quantitative insight to the AI and try and expect or pray the AI would make sense of this quantitative data and give you better insight. But you don't realize like AI is lacking the critical qualitative insight to give you that. So when I say AI-driven insight, our definition is AI as acting as your AE, as your CSM, as your CEO to scalable interview customers and exactly understand why is their intention, what is the goal they want to achieve. And that is what I'm thinking about calling AI-driven insights. That's because quantitative data is not insight. It's really good data. I'm not trying to bashing on it, but it's not insight.
Right.
In order to get insight, you need to combine both the quant and qualitative side.
Very interesting. But I think it will definitely help people understand the current problems that customers are facing, new use cases for that their problems are that their customers are having so that they can build better technologies, but to really support how to, I guess, build better products as I'm seeing it, build better marketing campaigns because they understand their customers better and hopefully decrease sales cycles as well because you're
totally
preparing yourself better for the conversations of what the customers need. Can you share an example of a company that significantly improved performance by using TheySaid? Maybe your own kind of case study.
Yeah, totally. We have quite a lot of customers. I'll give you an example where one of our customer, this is a very innovative co-working place for entrepreneurs, right? When we were talking, their goal is like, I just want upsells. I want to upsell people who are in the club members, like open desk to like private offices and, I understand their intent in doing that. When I first started with them, we have a lot of private office and it was pretty easy to find a spot and meeting rooms. And then after we worked with them for a year, it's completely packed. And now, almost all their private offices are gone. Like it's harder for me to book a meeting because we ask customer along their customer journey about those leading indicators that they are about to find a private office. Funding changes, employee changes, not just like NPS questions, right? Because let's be honest, people are not going to upgrade to your private office space or know about your office space because your toilet is clean, right? So Kyung is this very innovative concept of office for startups and entrepreneurs and business in own kind. It brings kind of a community sense of that. But I think a lot of people probably don't understand the value of that. It's not just a physical location. We are working to do some market research to understand people's perception about co-working space. And then use that insight to write marketing content. So to introduce people the new concept of co-working, which is new to most people, but without understanding their perception of co-working place. It would seem very unnatural to do that. So now that I think you are in marketing, you probably understand how valuable it is to come up with a content that resonates with your audience. So, but if you are creating content, fully understanding customers' perceptions, objections. Even better if you use their vocabulary to describe your new concept is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I do notice, like, as a marketer, I think and you're working on a product, or even if you're working on a co-working space, it's not just one audience that you're talking to. There's multiple different types of people. You're going to have multiple different segments, multiple different ICPs, multiple different types of people that can buy your product. And so if you want to build content that speaks to them, to that particular persona, so if you're not using AI, it is very difficult because it's, the messaging for that particular person, and then the set of content, whether it's collateral pieces, assets, or for campaigns or emails, that's a lot of work for just one person. So the ability to actually synthesize the information, I think that's where AI is very helpful in this, is that it gives you the ability to grab a bunch of, either market research or previous content, put it all into one platform, synthesize it, and then it can even expel it out in the format that you want, which I find very useful and interesting today.
Sara, you're similar to most people I talk to. When they talk about AI, the first thing they think about is the AI can aggregate all the existing data that you have and then come up with something better to reduce your time. That's true. But what most people didn't realize that we are collecting data you don't already have now. The AI is having a conversation with your customers. You can get into the very nitty gritty of why they say things, those hidden thoughts that you can never get from surveys. And somehow it's very interesting. I use this, I'll talk about use case. I use our tool to do AI interviews to hire my salespeople. And one of the questions I typically ask in my interview is, what is the biggest challenge in your life? Right? Because I wanted to use that question to understand that those questions are very powerful, but when I'm doing it in person, people kind of a little bit hesitant because I'm a stranger to them, right? But I got better results from the AI asking this question because people are more willing to open up. They're just like, I'm talking to a stranger, this bot. So like this kind of insight, you don't have this data before. And you don't know what you know. Like once you combine this kind of deep conversation, the things you can do is scary good.
That's the only thing I can say. I think it takes away the emotional kind of fear component or nervousness component or self-doubt. Should I really share this component? So yeah, that's very interesting. I think, we've been talking a little bit about this, like, AI providing additional information and even AI helping out with decision making. How do you see the balance between the automation of what's happening and the need for human intuition or intervention? So as you talked about it, like the qualitative and the quantitative for, say, go-to-market teams, and how are you even using it today in your business?
Yeah, totally. I mean, just to be clear, I don't think AI today is capable of making decisions for business, important business decisions, or should be, because AI is very good. It can analyze a lot of data for you, and also in our case, gather the data that we were traditionally not able to get at scale. So that make decision making very powerful. But I think AI right now is really good at doing really manual, repeatable tasks. AI can automate that and then free up human to do things that's more strategical, more like, and then AI gather the manual data and then you use the data to make the better decision and taking action on that. So I don't think AI should make the decision. I think it plays more like assistant role. It's a very powerful assistant that give you everything you wish you can or you didn't know exists. And then for our process, like, because I'm in the customer facing, I use different ways to do outreach. My 3 favorite use case is I use AI to do cold outreach campaigns and lead warming. So I will reach out to people, to like marketers, to figure out if they are willing to use AI to gather feedback and qualitative feedback. Previously, I would reach out to people and people see my background, my past success, my co-founder, CEO title in the past. They would want to jump on a call, but I don't want to talk to everyone. I kind of want to qualify a little bit, right? And
Mhm.
or some people don't know anything about our company. So I would, if they are interested in, talking about AI for market research or AI for marketing use case, I'll send them an interview question with our AI interview, and they can do it right then, no scheduling, right then for 2 minutes. And then this kind of doubled as a product demo, right? Because they see
Mhm.
how it works. And I got a lot of insight. And by the time people show up on my call, I've already know what their pain points, what their objections, and what use cases they wanted to try. We turn it, our first meeting into co-working section. We're like, okay, you're interested in use case one. Let's do one together right now. It's easy. So I use that a lot. For me, it's like by the time the customer reach out to me on the call, they're already warm up about what we do and how we do it. Because you could do it with a human HR, SDR,
Mhm.
but the problem is the customer will email you, then you email them back, or they were linking you in, linking them back. There is a time lag, and sometimes
Mhm.
a lot of things fall through this crack. With this is instantly, it's right away, and I can train this AI faster than I can train SDR on our product. So it's more stable, consistent. So I have a great success with this. This is one of my kind of use case. And then when I'm scaling to a larger team, I said I was hiring a sales candidate, and I have a pretty lengthy 4-step interview process. I thought it's going to take forever to go through. And then I come up using our AI interview to screen through the first group of candidates. Within a week, we were able to screen through 175 candidates using the
Wow.
AI interview. Then we used some quantitative tests to screen through another few. And then I get the people in for the hands-on interview. So it's funny, my team was like, last week this time, we haven't met you in person to interview yet, but now we've been working here for 3 days. So it's really good. And I think it does a better job than me personally, because it doesn't get influenced by my personal feelings and stuff. It's more
Bias.
objective.
Right.
I'm like, I used to hire like hundreds of salespeople. They're really good at selling themselves. So one of the
Mhm.
difficulty things, how do I get through the weed and get to the real candidate and make sure I find the one? So I don't have like something called buyer remorse. Like I hire them and say, I'm not sure. This time I feel like, oh yes, I think I finally get to what I wanted. So I
Mhm.
was really impressed with that. It saved me, 175 hours of talking and interviewing that. And I oftentimes find that during my following rounds of interview, when I actually talk to people, I'll constantly forget, what did this person do again? What was the, and then remember I had the AI interview, I can go back to the history and say, oh, that guy does that. But imagine if you do a call, you couldn't be able, I mean, sure, you can go to your call recordings and sift through that. It's probably not easy to see, the answer you want. So I was like, oh my God, this is game changer. Really cool. I will share my last one, the win-loss analysis example. This is the one that product marketers and
Mhm.
founders really love. So have you heard about the term win-loss analysis, Sarah?
Of course. Yes, of course. Yep.
Yeah, so like traditional win-loss, you give the agencies a bunch of deals that you lost in a year, and then they reach out manually to schedule the call, do the interviews, pay them 100 to 150 bucks per call, and then they manually compile a report, give it to you. It's a couple month process, right? And then you pay them like a K for 20 calls. I don't know. Is that your experience?
My experience is doing it myself. So
Oh my
usually,
God.
it's usually in Salesforce, the reason why we won the deal or the reason why we lost the deal. And if we want to dive in and get that like deeper information, I'm making the phone call.
Yeah, totally. And then a lot of companies don't do win-loss. It's like they take the data from what salespeople say. Like salespeople
Mhm.
enter in Salesforce. But I was like, do you trust the source? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that salespeople is lying. Sometimes the client don't give you salespeople the whole picture of why they
Mhm.
cancel. And even if the customer tells them, like, yeah, timing is not right, but they're not, especially the nicer the salespeople, they're too polite. They don't want to hurt your feeling to tell you the true reason. So I think, someone like you for marketing interviewing or agency interviewing is good. But it is very time consuming, right? How long does it take for you to do those?
At least an hour. I mean, when you said that you went through 175 candidates in 1 week, I mean, when I'm looking for a candidate, I'm going into Sales Navigator and looking for them myself. I'm scheduling the meetings, and sometimes my days are filled with interviews, just trying to, move people along the interview process if I need to schedule or hire someone within, a month. So that takes up all of my time.
Exactly.
So this is great.
I got it done within like, a week. 4 rounds of interview, all done in 1 week. And the major one is AI weed out my first wave of people that I don't think is a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect that was the case. So like think about the AI version of weight loss analysis. So instead of doing this batch once a year, like you reach out to people a year ago, they don't remember why they don't buy you, right? Buy from you. Imagine you set up an AI interview with a link in your HubSpot Salesforce email template. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then you set kind of workflow. So as soon as a new business is closed lost, a few hours later or same day, you send out this interview and say, instead of scheduling a call, if you do this interview with me 5 to 10 minutes right now with this AI, I can give you $25 to $50. And you can chat with this AI to tell me why you pissed off and didn't buy. I think a lot of people would want to do it, right? So somewhere like it depends on the question you want to ask. Is I tested it's somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes is a normal one. If you want to do an extraordinary one, the longest you can do is like 10 minutes. You don't need that long. And then for a buyer, I was like, I'll do this 2-minute one for $25 right now. Why not? Right? And if I use my phone, I can just talk to it. I don't need to type. I was going for a walk with my dog and then just do this weight loss interview, get $25, right? So, and then the result is automatically compiled in our dashboard. AI would do that. So you turn this once a year learning to a continuous
ongoing
learning, and it's automatically on, and you don't need to pay $1,000 per course. You pay this customer $25 to $50. So it's like, my only thing is like, you might get too many responses and blow your budget of Amazon gift card, which will have a system to like turn it off. Like first 10 people, you're lucky. You get $25 today. Other ones, sorry, we're turning you down.
Yeah, that's really great. Those are 3 very good use cases. I think basically for every company I've worked at, one of the challenges has always been getting that MQL to the SQL and getting that first meeting scheduled and making sure the person shows up.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, a bunch of AI platforms like doing that specific task in that space. And so I'm glad to see that you're having success with that too. What are some other challenges that you see either yourself or TheySaid or other businesses coming across today? And how are you kind of overcoming them, or are you seeing like other leaders kind of overcoming these specific challenges where either your tool or other AI tools can help?
So I think for us, one of the biggest challenge, I can't talk about other AI companies' challenge, but for us, it's like we are AI native company. And the AI is moving in a net-breaking speed. Like every couple months, there's a new model coming out. Llama, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Gemini, different version of it. It's so right now we are by far the most innovative company in our space. So it's sometimes encouraging and sometimes nervous that every day these billion-dollar gorilla competitors are in our account, signing up free accounts, poking around, and try to steal our technology, and there's nothing we can stop them, right? So just put a lot of pressure on us to always innovating new features and new products to the market that no one has seen before. It's a race. It's a very fast race. But I feel like we are in the best position to overcome this problem because we're trying to build a qualitative insight company at scale. And because our team previously built the biggest qualitative company, user testing. And then the other secret weapon is we have the best engineering team. Our engineering team is also AI native. That's why I'm saying like when you implement AI, productivity improve. It's not like 10 times, 3 times, 10 times more. It's dimensionally higher when you implement an AI as kind of your in every department, in everything you do. So I think it's like we're confident that we can solve this problem. Like, sure, get the race going, right? We're ready for it. But I can think other AI companies, if you go to product hunt, every day, the top 10 product hunt is all AI company. There's so many different AI company that's coming out, and it's hard to differentiate yourself. So I think the best way is create the best product experience for anyone you try it, so people can keep coming back to it.
That's interesting. You know, two things. One, that's part of why I'm doing this podcast is to select companies that I think are worthwhile to talk to help take away some of that noise. But the other is like, I'm a product marketer at core, and I have done, I mean, I don't even know, countless product launches, whether it's for a feature all the way to the platform to a company initiative. And with the speed of this technology evolving and constantly changing, how do you see that changing the way marketers or companies are going to be launching new products as well as planning for go to market on the sales side? Do you see anything changing? Yeah.
Well, I think in the future, technology is becoming a commodity. It's just like, so we had a chance to talk to kind of the head of Amazon. They basically don't acquire any technology companies anymore. So they acquire companies with unique data sets. So like if you think about, so like companies that have unique data set, everyone is seeking for that. Like for example, if I'm Amazon, I wouldn't buy another technology company, but I might hire, like Amazon previously bought like Zappos because they're unique, they're vertical, unique in their space. So you need to kind of have a unique angle, like you're focusing on this it's a specialized category that is attractive to other company or your customers, like the differentiate. How can you differentiate from this gorilla company that does all? So I think it's like really focus on things you can do well, and also using the power of data and AI to make your launches and your product more successful. So I was thinking like, because we're gathering the data, the qualitative data that industry doesn't have yet, right? We're trying to gather the first set of qualitative data about customers. Just like, I don't know if you know about a company called Stitch Fix. I mean, if that's a really great company because they're not a clothing company. They have data. They have data you don't get. They know my preference of clothing.
They know
my size. They know a lot of things. Like imagine later on you can build an AI clothing assistant, AI agent that knows your preference, knows your size, knows your whatever. It's really powerful. Like I called it, I think I was chatting to AI last night about, hey, in China, we have this term I translate to called it dimensional defeat. It comes from a three-body problem where a three-dimensional being can easily crush a two-dimensional being because you're just on a piece of paper. You can only move forward, backward, left, right. You can't do anything. I can just squeeze you. So like the AI native company is like, competing with traditional business. It's like you are one-dimensional or more higher. So I would say right now is probably the best time to create startups if you can harness the AI to challenge traditional industries. And now it's like hire really good marketers to go to kind of differentiate yourself with unique positions, deliver really good product, because people's patience is really low. If they try it, they don't like it, they're not going to come back. So I think if you do that, you have a space in the new.
That sounds great. So do you feel that kind of the strategy would be more like the product-led growth strategy and getting away from like traditional sales because of the speed of development and because people are kind of going in there and trying new products?
I think, it might be a combination of product-led growth, sales-led growth. There's even a conference called AI-led growth.
What is that?
You haven't heard? So
I haven't heard that.
So it's like a bunch of go-to-market leader, marketing and sales get together and have this AI-led growth. I can show you that HS event. They just finished the 3-day AI-led growth event. Huge turnout. It's go-to-market leader talking about how to use AI to strengthen their strategy. I don't think it's like the go-to-market changed that much from like a product-led growth to like a sales-led growth. Think about AI is like a tool to enable you to now do this at mass scale, faster iteration, testing out different things. So I think, also the use cases for AI evolve so much. You got to keep it open-minded.
Mhm.
I think it will, it's like an AI-enabled product-led growth, AI-enabled sales-led growth I think is, at least in the next 1 to 2 years is the trend. And then the future is unpredictable.
I think that kind of is a good segue to our last question. So how do you see them evolving over the next, I'd say, 3 to 5 years? And where do you see your company, TheySaid, kind of shaping that future?
Yeah, totally. I'm seeing like, okay, so AI agents is already there. Like you think about
Yes.
AI, especially as AI agents, the different employees working on that. But then, it's still they're going to work together as a team, right? And I can see that, in the future, the difficulty right now a lot of business have is like the data work in different systems and they have this concept of integration and API. Imagine that's gone. The AI just work together to share data and do that. Maybe there will be a marketplace with the AI agent. I think they are probably already that, but soon it will probably replace APIs and integrations and information can flow deeply. For us, again, we were thinking the future is about unique data sets. So we realize that, and everyone wants qualitative data. Everyone wants to know the why, but it's hard to get and it's not scalable. So we position ourselves as the king or queen of a qualitative data set. So we'll become kind of the winner. If you have a unique data set, you become the winner in the future world. So that's what we're hoping. I was jokingly saying to my husband that, you know what, if we have a lot of the qualitative data in our space and nobody else have it, one day when AGI wake up, they will try to target us, get us, because they want our data, right? I don't know. It's definitely something that will help a lot of business understand the target audience. Like I said, the technology becomes a commodity, and what make you stood up is deep understanding of your target audience, deep understanding your markets, your people, so you can actually use those advantage to your strategy and make better products, better marketing strategy, better pricing. So that's something I think is still the same on the business. Like you and me as marketers and go-to-market people, we still are doing the things, but AI will enable you to do it in a much better scale than we ever imagined before.
It's a great closing. Thank you so much, Lihong. And I look forward to seeing TheySaid grow and the new opportunities that it leads and exposes for other people.